Welcome to Roofing and Exteriors Influencer Series. I'm Associate Editor Anthony LoCicero. Throughout the series, we will bring you video interviews filmed during the International Roofing Expo from thought leaders. On this episode, I'm speaking with Brad Humphrey, VP of Human Resource Operations at PaveCon. Brad, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, thank you.
Right now, worker shortages are a real pain point for business owners.
It's
what
huge.
creative ways could they come up with to kind of get around this?
Well, number one, the old standard way isn't cutting it. There was a day at time, Anthony, years ago, not too long ago actually, when a lot of contractors would put up a sign in their front yard saying, hey, we're hiring. Those days aren't working anymore. There's not 10 people waiting to get in. So I think you're going to have to get more involved with certainly the social media stuff, whether it's LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter. We have found that some of those are better for more professional level jobs than maybe our field guys are. But now I'm going into high schools, districts. Most of your larger districts are starting to bring back training of skills, actually, labor skills. In fact, I'm hoping to join the Skills USA board there in Texas this fall. It looks like I will be. So I'm getting to know those teachers, those programs. I'm also going to more junior colleges, community colleges than ever. And also, probably the greatest thing is they've really started making leadway in with the groups like the National Guards, the reservists. Many of these men and women are already performing some tasks, many times exactly what we're looking for, i.e. drivers. Right now, as you may or may not know, Class A drivers are just gold. You can't find them. So we're going everywhere we can to find them, and we're actually beginning to see some uptick in a few of the areas that I just mentioned, the military and some of the schools that are teaching.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, you recently coached the audiences on how to become more successful and build their businesses. What pivotal changes can these leaders make?
I think probably the first thing is you got to make sure you're taking care of the people you got right now. The people issue is overwhelming most contractors because we've never dealt with it like this. We were already hurting for workers before COVID hit. COVID exasperated it further. It's brought it out more. The job counts are kind of funny. Most contractors are still talking that they need to hire multiple people. There's another reason here too, though, Anthony, and that is, and even in our own business, the company I work with now, we got 20-30% of our current workforce that are leaders, if not leaders, skilled laborers. They're retiring in the next 3 or 4 years. I mean, the end of the baby boom is finally reaching us, and so it's really serious. And we just don't have enough younger blood people coming in. And so I think, number one, people. Second, you've got to start doing more training than ever before if you're going to maintain your business. Third is you got to make sure you're doing quality work. As you heard me teach the class today, Dr. Deming, the godfather of quality years ago, he's been dead for many years now, but he instructed us that when you make a mistake, to replace that mistake is not just twice the amount, it's 3 times the amount. And that's why a lot of contractors that go into business dreaming of big things, if you don't get a handle on your quality and doing things right the first time, it can knock you out of your business.
Indeed. So what common hurdles do construction owners need to overcome in coaching, as you had your sessions on, in coaching these employees to a better performance?
That's a great question. I think you have to use all the mediums. If you have live training, typically, and this is true for a lot of industries, but especially for construction, on the job, OTJ was always the number one way of training. We still do a lot of that. But I do think we have to use YouTube videos. I know in my business, in our company, we are actually videotaping more and more of the technical things. I'm doing leadership development training as well by video, but we're actually videotaping our crews at work so we can use that as training messages for new workers. I just think if you don't do that, you're going to be so far behind because most workers today, most of the younger people coming in have very little to no experience. There was a day not too long ago when if your dad was a carpenter, you might be a carpenter, and maybe your grandfather's a carpenter. Those days are kind of gone. And we have such a plethora of students in high schools in more inner city areas. They've never been exposed to construction, yet I have found when I've worked with some of these kids that when they get a chance to see things done that they did, that they worked, that's why Skills USA is so critical. When they see a result of plumbing a line or running an electrical line or HVAC, learn how to work on an air conditioner, it is huge for their confidence. And in my line of work, You know, I'm interviewing people that don't know the difference between a Phillips head screwdriver and a ruler. You know, so if a school at any level can teach just that, if I have young people that at least know the difference between concrete's gray, asphalt's black, that's a step in the right direction for me. But that's what I think owners are going to have to do. They're going to have to take more assertive effort on the training and the development themselves. There's just not enough resources out there.
So they'll be finding new avenues then to reach these employees as well too?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at doing job fairs on our own, certainly attending job fairs. We attended a job fair, believe it or not, in Mississippi for our division out there, and we wound up hiring 2 or 3 people from the Guard. Well, they're already they're practicing some of these skills. They were a construction battalion, so they have a lot of the skills that we're looking for. But yeah, I think we're going to have to get more creative and also use the people that are retiring. If you have a retired, this is a great piece of advice for a contractor. If you have an individual who wants to retire, well, you know, go let them retire for 6 months, and when the honeydews are done, I tease them about that. But hey, you know what? You may want to bring that worker back for 15, 20, 30 hours a week. Keep them underneath any IRS problems, that kind of thing. But they may become great shadows and teachers and coaches because especially if they're good communicators and they were a good employee, knew what they were doing. I think there's a great source of coaching that we could draw from the retirees after they're gone.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.